David, thank you. Representative Mike Gallagher is leading a bipartisan group urging U.S. officials not to list sturgeon as an endangered species. In a letter sent to the director of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are expressing what implications the designation could have. Senators Ron Johnson and Tammy Baldwin were among those who signed that. The letter asked for Wisconsin to be exempt from the federal endangered species listing, as state leaders say the cultural and economic impacts of the sturgeon spearing season would be severely limited in the future. Supporters of the letter believe the state DNR is already doing enough to conserve the sturgeon population while maintaining the annual spearing tradition. DNR officials have released the regulations for the 2024 spearing season and are urging spearers to look it over before the start of the season. Goes over the new regulations for harvest caps and registration stations. The DNR is also reporting on how the sturgeon population is doing compared to past years. You can find more information on the state's DNR website under the Sturgeon Spearing tab.